Wade Wilson. I know him, you know him, they know him, but who really knows him? Good question. With a mind like that, one tends to be pretty unknowable. Full of quips and quirks, this unkillable mutant is a fan favorite, and plenty of folks are real stoked for the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So what better time to recap the Deadpool timeline? Welcome back to Stan Lee Presents. Like I said, we're taking a look at the Deadpool timeline today, from his modern appearance in X-Men Origins all the way up to what you need to know going into this new movie. Let's get this thing started. Excelsior. Original timeline. X-Men Origins, Wolverine. Wade Wilson, a mutant soldier and mercenary blessed with enhanced reflexes and agility, found himself amidst the tumult of the Vietnam War during the mid to late 1973 period. Serving under the command of William Stryker in the clandestine unit known as Team X, Wade operated alongside formidable comrades such as James Logan Howlett, Victor Creed, Christopher Bradley, Agent Zero, John Wraith, and Fred Dukes. Despite his formidable combat prowess, Wade's penchant for incessant chatter often drew the ire of his superiors, with Stryker remarking that Wade would be the quintessential soldier were it not for his inability to remain silent. 6 years after the dissolution of Team X, Wade found himself ensnared and transported to Stryker's facility at 3 Mile Island. There, he became the unfortunate subject of Stryker's Weapon 11 project, marking the onset of a tragic transformation. Initially falling victim to Victor's lethal hand, Wade's body became the cornerstone for Stryker's ambitious experiment. Collaborating with Victor, Stryker orchestrated the assembly of mutant DNA fragments, intending to amalgamate their powers within a single viable host. Thus, Wade metamorphosed into Weapon 11, dubbed the Mutant Killer by Stryker. Rendered bereft of his former identity taken away, Wade's silenced visage and adamantium-infused frame epitomized his harrowing evolution into Deadpool, a composite entity embodying the amalgamation of diverse mutant abilities. Wade was dispatched to confront Wolverine following Victor's defeat. Despite Dr. Carol Frost's assertion that the project remained incomplete, Stryker ordered Deadpool's deployment without hesitation. As Wolverine endeavored to liberate the detained mutants, his project was abruptly impeded by the unleashed force of Weapon 11, now fully operational and under Stryker's command. Employing Chris Bradley's abilities, Stryker manipulated him into launching a lethal assault against Wolverine. While the other mutants sought escape, the battlefield became the arena for their brutal clash. Empowered by an amalgam of various mutant powers, Weapon 11 was armed with Cyclops' optic blasts, Wolverine's regenerative prowess, John Wraith's teleportation skills, Chris Bradley's technopathic control, and Wade's iconic retractable arm blades. With this formidable array of powers, Weapon 11 stood prepared to engage Wolverine in a decisive battle to the death. Facing Weapon 11 in solitary combat, Logan ascends one of the towering cooling structures only to find his adversary swiftly following suit, utilizing Wraith's teleportation prowess. Despite Logan's unwavering resolve, he finds himself overpowered and subdued by Weapon 11. In a critical moment, just as Weapon 11 prepares to execute Stryker's command and deliver a fatal blow, Victor unexpectedly intervenes, forcibly pushing Weapon 11 aside. The ensuing struggle leads to both Weapon 11 and Victor plummeting into the depths below, with Victor managing to catch Logan. In a chilling revelation, Victor discloses his true motive for saving Logan, the desire to personally end his life. Victor and Logan end up facing Wade from both sides as they finally catch him. They stab him, but he teleports across the tower. Deadpool fires optic blasts at Logan. As Victor jumps towards Weapon 11 and is shot back, Logan falls over the edge of the tower. In response to Victor being blasted into the ground, Logan runs, jumps, and cuts Weapon 11 in the neck as he climbs back on the tower. Logan kicks him into the cooling tower, with Weapon 11 holding his neck as he tumbles below him with lasers still firing, his head falling off. Later on, Wilson, previously thought to be dead, is revealed to be alive and starts to piece himself back together. X2, X-Men United. His name appeared on Stryker's computer. Weapon 11 killed by the time-traveling Deadpool. Deadpool 2. As Weapon 11 gears up to strike Wolverine after the latter saves the kids from 3 Mile Island, he's abruptly shot through the head by the Deadpool from the revised timeline, who has traveled through time. Deadpool explains to Wolverine that he's tidying up the timeline and proceeds to shoot his alternate self multiple times until the latter perishes. Revised timeline. Because Wolverine went back in time to January 1973 and stopped Mystique from assassinating Bolivar Trask, Team X was never assembled. Wade and the other Team X members were never targeted or slain by Victor Creed. Early life. Born in Regina, Saskatchewan in 1975, Wade Wilson would later humorously reflect on the challenges of his upbringing. However, he spoke earnestly about his strained relationship with family, considering it an F-word due to his father's negative influence before abandoning him at a young age. Spending part of his childhood in an orphanage, Wade later enlisted in the Canadian military, rising to the ranks of a Special Forces soldier. While serving in the military, Wade ventured to Jacksonville and encountered a man named Bob while dining at TGI Fridays. This chance meeting evolved into a strong friendship, prompting Wade to regularly visit Bob and his family, eagerly anticipating the opportunity to indulge in the renowned tuna casserole crafted by Bob's wife, Gail. After being dishonorably discharged, Wade relocated to New York City, transitioning into a mercenary for hire. It was during this time that he struck up a friendship with a bartender named Weasel. Life in New York. One day, Wade accepts a task from a teenage girl named Megan, tasked with putting an end to the stalking by a pizza delivery boy named Jeremy. Upon completing the job, Wade informs Megan of the resolution. Grateful, Megan hugs him, referring to him as her hero, though Wade promptly dismisses this notion, stating that heroism isn't something he embodies. Meeting Vanessa Carlisle. When Wade visits Weasel's bar, he orders a drink called the Blowjob and has the bartender bring it to him, saying that it came from someone else, which leads to a bar fight in which people bet that others will die, called the Deadpool. Wade meets a prostitute named Vanessa Carlisle after the bar fight is settled. Initially, they bond over their strange, messed up lives before beginning a sexual relationship that eventually turns romantic. Seeking a cure. 1 year later, Wade proposes to Vanessa one evening, and she joyfully accepts. Wade is genuinely elated by Vanessa's acceptance, but their happiness is abruptly halted when Wade suddenly collapses. The following day, Wade and Vanessa visit the hospital, where he receives a devastating diagnosis: terminal cancer affecting his liver, lungs, prostate, and brain. Despite Vanessa's unwavering support, Wade's primary concern shifts to her future rather than his own. With this cancer diagnosis, Wade seeks solace in alcohol at Weasel's bar, only to be informed by Weasel that the man in the corner is seeking him out. Approaching the stranger, Wade learns that he's called the Recruiter. The Recruiter presents an offer to join a program that not only promises to cure his cancer, but will also grant him extraordinary abilities. Although tempted, Wade hesitates and ultimately declines, though he accepts the card the Recruiter offers before departing. Becoming a mutant. Driven by desperation and a desire to survive, Wade ultimately reconsiders his decision and opts to undergo the procedure, motivated by his love for Vanessa. Sneaking away from her in the dead of night, he arrives at the facility where he encounters Ajax for the first time, accompanied by his associate Angel Dust. Ajax administers a unique serum to Wade, designed to activate any latent mutant genes within him, with the aim of transforming him into a superhuman capable of combating his cancer. Ajax explains that in order for the serum to take effect, Wade must endure extreme stress, since adrenaline is the catalyst. However, if Wade lacks any dormant mutant genes, the torture could prove fatal. To induce the mutation, Wade endures a series of brutal torture methods administered by Angel Dust. Following days of torture yielding no results, Wade discovers Ajax's true identity as Francis and ridicules him. Enraged by Wade's mockery, Ajax restrains him and seals him in an airtight chamber, depriving him of oxygen. It's then revealed that the program wasn't designed to empower Wade, but rather to transform him into a superpowered slave, intended for auction as an assassin. While confined in the chamber, the decrease in oxygen levels triggers a regenerative healing process that successfully eliminates Wade's cancer. However, the regeneration inadvertently exacerbates his cancer cells, resulting in severe disfigurement across his entire body, causing his skin and facial features to distort. The following day, Ajax unlocks the chamber and informs Wade that his cancer has been eradicated. Upon his release, Wade berates Ajax for his grotesque appearance and impulsively headbutts Angel Dust, seizing a match she holds in her mouth. Once back in the chamber, Wade ignites the match and hurls it towards the oxygen vent, triggering a colossal explosion that obliterates both his confinement and the entire laboratory. Ajax investigates the explosion, prompting Wade to engage him in combat, fueled by his newfound strength and intent on eliminating his adversary. However, Wade pauses when Ajax reveals the existence of a cure for his disfigurement, asserting that he's the sole individual capable of administering it. Despite initially gaining the advantage, Ajax eventually overwhelms Wade, impaling him with a bar before departing, leaving it bent. Wade is left for dead after Ajax asks what his name is, but Wade doesn't respond. Cunningham called out to Wade as he sat impaled, and they exchanged one final glance as the facility collapsed from the explosion. This killed Cunningham and anyone else who did not escape. Hunting Ajax. Dismantling an organization. Awakening alive but horrified by his altered appearance, Wade covers himself with a hood as he navigates the streets. However, the public's reaction of repulsion and discomfort to his presence intensifies his apprehension about Vanessa's potential response, so he decides to avoid her entirely. Seeking solace, Wade returns to Weasel, only to be met with similar disdain and a barrage of jests aimed at his disfigurement. At Weasel's urging, Wade decides to craft a suit and mask to conceal his disfigured appearance as he resumes his pursuit of Ajax. Inspired by Weasel's suggestion, Wade embraces the persona of Deadpool, a name derived from the bar's fighting tournament. With this new identity, Wade embarks on a relentless mission to track down Ajax. He systematically dismantles his operation and confronts his minions, determined to locate and confront his nemesis. While mustering the courage to disclose his transformed appearance to Vanessa, Wade temporarily resides with a visually impaired woman named Al. Adopting the persona of Deadpool, Wade garners the interest of Colossus, who seeks to recruit the mercenary into the X-Men. After pursuing leads from multiple syndicates, Wade finally locates the recruiter, who divulges information about Ajax's whereabouts before Deadpool eliminates him. Skirmish on the highway. After dispatching several of Francis's associates, Wade uncovers his enemy's whereabouts and hails a taxicab to the designated location. While waiting in the cab, Wade grows restless in the back seat. He then moves up to the front to strike up a conversation with Dopinder, the taxi driver. Curious about a photograph of a girl in Dopinder's car, Deadpool learns that she's Dopinder's cherished love, abducted by his cousin, Bandu. As Deadpool realizes he's left his weapons bag behind and only has 12 rounds in his guns, Dopinder drives him to the center of a bridge. Deadpool compensates Dopinder for the cab fare with a crisp high five, attributing the lack of payment to forgetting his wallet at home, which he claims would ruin the lining of his suit. Atop the bridge, Deadpool awaits his targets. After spotting a convoy of vans approaching, he jumps into one of them and beats up all the thugs in the van. The accident kills other villains. All the vans crash into the bridge, and one thug has his head smashed off with a chain, while another gets gorily splattered on the highway sign. Having forgotten his ammo bag with only 12 left, Wade counts off each round he shoots, and then manages to kill 3 men with 1 bullet. Deadpool quickly skewers a thief with 2 knives who comes at him. Spotting Ajax approaching on a motorcycle, Deadpool hurls one of his katanas at the bike, forcing Ajax to crash. Seizing the opportunity, Deadpool impales Ajax with the other blade, immobilizing him. Deadpool then reveals his scarred face to Ajax, ensuring he recognizes him as Wade Wilson. However, before Deadpool can take further action, Colossus, alerted by news reports, intervenes with Negasonic Teenage Warhead, preventing Deadpool from proceeding. Colossus expresses his disapproval of Deadpool's chaotic actions and attempts to recruit him into the X-Men, but Deadpool adamantly refuses. While Colossus is distracted, Ajax seizes the opportunity to escape. Fueled by anger, Deadpool tries to strike Colossus, only to end up breaking his hand in the process. Despite several futile attempts to harm Colossus, Deadpool only succeeds in breaking both of his hands and his right foot. As a result of Deadpool's foolish and embarrassing attempts to injure him, Colossus throws him into a car and handcuffs the mercenary to his wrist, deciding to bring him to Professor X. After all his limbs are completely healed, Deadpool chooses to cut off his own hand and hop into a truck on the freeway below, leaving his hand free to give Colossus the finger. Aftermath. Riding the garbage truck back to his and Blind Al's residence, Deadpool's severed hand begins to regenerate slowly. Upon arriving home, Wade is persuaded by Al to muster the courage to reveal himself to Vanessa. Weasel warns Wade that Ajax and Angel are targeting Vanessa, prompting them to visit the strip club where she's employed. Despite Weasel's support, Wade remains apprehensive about confronting her. When Weasel informs Wade that Vanessa went out back, Wade reluctantly goes to search for her, discovering only her handbag, indicating that she's been abducted. Final battle. Enraged and determined to rescue Vanessa, Wade arms himself with all the firearms from Blind Al's house. He then heads to the X-Mansion to enlist Colossus and Negasonic's aid in confronting Ajax and retrieving Vanessa. Deadpool beckons to Colossus, offering him a deal he can't turn down, and humorously comments on the mansion's grand size versus the apparent scarcity of X-Men. Together, Wade, Colossus, and Negasonic travel to Ajax's location in a cab driven by Dopinder. Deadpool informs Dopinder that Colossus has agreed to assist in rescuing Vanessa, and as a result, Deadpool contemplates the possibility of joining the X-Men. During their journey, Deadpool hears a scream from the trunk after hitting a bump. Dopinder confesses to kidnapping his cousin, eliciting a feigned reaction of horror from Deadpool, who secretly congratulates Dopinder on the act. The trio locates Ajax at the decommissioned aircraft carrier within a scrapyard. Deadpool rushes toward the henchmen while Colossus and Negasonic engage in combat with Angel. After Angel knocks Colossus aside, Negasonic unleashes a powerful attack against Angel. Observing this, Deadpool quips, "I so pity the dude who pressures her into prom sex." Wade swiftly dispatches the goons and unexpectedly encounters his old acquaintance, Bob, who he hasn't seen since their time at TGI Fridays in Jacksonville. Despite a brief reunion, Deadpool incapacitates his friend, reflecting on memories of Bob's family before dragging him to safety. Deadpool then utilizes the bodies of Ajax's henchmen to spell out Francis's name in a mocking gesture. Assisted by Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Deadpool ascends to the top of the aircraft carrier where Ajax is holding Vanessa captive. Ajax imprisons Vanessa in the same chamber previously used for Wade. He then readies to end Vanessa's life using another oxygen deprivation chamber, engaging Deadpool in a duel with their respective weapons. In the midst of the fight, Deadpool hurls one of his swords into the oxygen deprivation chamber, effectively rescuing Vanessa from suffocation. Persisting in the battle, Deadpool clashes with Ajax until the latter throws a knife into Deadpool's head, momentarily stunning him. Seizing the opportunity, Vanessa breaks free from the chamber and impales Ajax with Deadpool's own sword. As Ajax prepares to retaliate, Deadpool removes the knife from his head and prepares to intervene. As Angel nearly strangles Colossus with a chain, Negasonic unleashes another powerful blast that throws Angel off balance and causes significant damage to the carrier. The carrier begins to collapse, sending numerous freight containers tumbling down. Colossus swiftly carries Negasonic and Angel to safety, while Deadpool ensures Vanessa's safe landing. Placing Vanessa in the disconnected oxygen deprivation chamber, Deadpool ensures she's thrown to safety just before the carrier crashes down entirely. As Deadpool moves to reunite with Vanessa, Colossus, and Negasonic, Ajax launches another assault, leading to another intense brawl. Deadpool gains the upper hand, pummeling Ajax mercilessly, demanding a cure for his disfigurement. He's only met with mocking laughter, however. Ajax reveals the harsh truth: there's never been a cure for Deadpool's disfigurement. Furious upon learning that Ajax cannot remedy his condition, Deadpool brandishes a revolver, poised to end Francis's life. Offering Francis a final chance to speak, Deadpool asks if he has any last words, to which Francis responds with a simple inquiry about his name. Deadpool dismisses the question with disdain, retorting, "Who fucking cares?" Disregarding Colossus's plea for mercy and his discourse on heroism, Deadpool swiftly ends Francis's life with the revolver, eliciting disdain from the mutant. Reunion with Vanessa Carlyle. Following his conversation with Colossus, Deadpool notices Vanessa approaching and feels uncertain about what to say to her. Colossus advises Deadpool to figure it out. As Deadpool turns to face Vanessa, she angrily punches him multiple times for abandoning her. She prepares to strike him in the groin, but Wayne convinces her not to. She then demands an explanation from Wade regarding his departure. In response, he sincerely apologizes to her for everything, leaving, not returning to her sooner, and lacking the courage to face her. Wade confesses his fear that Vanessa wouldn't accept him due to his disfigurement, as his face no longer resembled what she remembered. However, Vanessa boldly removes his mask, only to discover another layer underneath, which she also removes. Deadpool reveals his disfigured face to Vanessa, but she reassures him that his appearance doesn't affect her feelings. In fact, she affectionately describes his face as one she's willing to sit on. Wade humorously adds that he acquired a super penis from the experiments. Upon hearing Deadpool's lewd remark, Colossus once again advises him to mind his language, especially in the presence of young individuals like Negasonic. An irritated Deadpool questions why Colossus and Negasonic are still here. Deadpool suggests that Colossus should act as a mentor to someone, and he compliments Negasonic by telling her that nothing compares to you. Surprised by Negasonic's acknowledgement of a reference from Deadpool, he's puzzled by her non-hostile response. Colossus and Negasonic then depart, with Colossus expressing his intent to mold Deadpool into an X-Men. Deadpool reunites with Vanessa and they reconcile with a kiss while he plays Careless Whisper by Wham! Contact with Cable. After disclosing to the audience that there wasn't a significant post-credit scene, Deadpool reveals that Cable would make an appearance in the sequel. Later on, while walking, Wade encountered an older man being mugged in the alley. Choosing to intervene, Wade entered a phone booth to change into his Deadpool attire. However, the transformation took longer than anticipated, and when he finally emerged, he found the older man had already been fatally shot. Disappointed, Wade sat beside the man, took his yogurt, and began lamenting about the presence of a phone booth, the time it takes to become a superhero, and speculated that Wolverine might have been able to save the man, given his quicker attire. Deadpool 2. 2 years later, Deadpool persists in his profession as a contract assassin, expanding his operations globally. On his anniversary with Vanessa, Wade arrives late due to an unsuccessful attempt to eliminate a drug dealer, thwarted by a panic room. Despite his feeble excuses, Vanessa forgives him and they exchange gifts. Wade presents her with a skee-ball token from their inaugural date, while Vanessa surprises him with her decision to remove her birth control, expressing her desire for them to start a family. Wade suddenly realizes that someone is outside after having sex and discussing baby names. Wade is found by the drug dealer and his crew. He manages to take out the majority of them, but the drug dealer manages to shoot Vanessa, who dies in Wade's arms. He catches up with the dealer, embraces him, and throws them both in front of a car. As he realizes that he is responsible for Vanessa's death, he pumps his body full of cocaine, tries to kill himself by having polar bears devour him, drinks bleach, and walks on the edge of a building until he falls. Then he blows up an apartment. After his near-death experience, Wade has a surreal meeting with Vanessa, who emphasizes the importance of his heart being in the right place for their reunion. Upon awakening, Deadpool finds himself in the X-Mansion, where Colossus had transported him to recuperate. Colossus attempts to persuade Deadpool to join the X-Men, and something he says triggers memories of Wade's conversation with Vanessa. As As a trainee, Wade becomes part of the team. During his inaugural mission alongside Colossus and Negasonic, they confront a young mutant named Russell, who is wreaking havoc at the Essex house for mutant rehabilitation. Deadpool successfully persuades Russell to stand down, only to discover the abusive treatment inflicted by the orphanage staff. In a fit of rage, Wade takes action, resulting in the death of a staff member. Subsequently, both Wade and Russell are apprehended and fitted with power-dampening collars. Wade and Russell found themselves incarcerated in the icebox, where Wade's cancer resurfaced in the absence of his healing abilities. Facing the grim prospect of dying behind bars, Wade attempted to dissuade Russell from his misguided plans for survival within the prison, which involved crafting a makeshift weapon and targeting the most formidable inmate. However, their predicament took a drastic turn when the facility came under assault by Cable, a mutant from the future determined to eliminate Russell for the atrocities he would commit. In a desperate attempt to resist, Wade engages in combat, but finds himself overpowered, weakened by his deteriorating health. Cable hurls him off a catwalk, inadvertently dislodging the power-dampening collar in the process. Freed from its constraints, Wade re-enters the fray, yet Cable maintains the advantage. Amidst the chaos of their skirmish, Wade seizes upon Cable's weaponry, inadvertently setting off a concussive blast that propels both of them beyond the confines of the prison. Witnessing Vanessa facing yet another perilous situation, Wade becomes resolute in his determination to save Russell from Cable's clutches. Forming a team dubbed X-Force, Wade embarks on a mission to liberate Russell from a prison convoy. Tragically, the operation results in the demise of all X-Force members except Wade and Domino. Engaging Cable in a fierce confrontation, Wade's efforts are complicated when Russell unleashes the Juggernaut. Amidst the chaos, the Juggernaut wreaks havoc, causing the transport to crash, tearing Deadpool in half and facilitating Russell's escape. Recuperating at Blind Owl's while regenerating his legs, Wade receives a visit from Cable, who proposes a partnership to thwart Juggernaut and Russell's destructive path. Russell's impending assassination of the Essex House headmaster is poised to propel him toward becoming a notorious killer. Wade consents to the alliance under the condition that Cable grant him a brief window to dissuade Russell. With just 30 seconds on the clock, Wade endeavors to enlist Colossus, expressing remorse for past grievances, though it appears Colossus remains unmoved by Wade's entreaties. Wade, Cable, and Domino converge on Essex House, engaging Juggernaut in a fierce battle. Just as odds seem dire, reinforcements arrive in the form of Colossus, Negasonic, and Yukio, turning the tide of the confrontation. With combined effort, they manage to defeat Juggernaut. Racing against time, Wade intercepts Russell moments before he can execute the headmaster, willingly donning a power-dampening collar and offering himself as a sacrificial gesture. Witnessing Wade's selfless act, Russell begins to waver in resolve. However, Cable, skeptical of Russell's change of heart, intervenes with a gunshot. In a poignant moment, Wade takes the fatal blow, sacrificing himself for Russell's redemption. Moved by Wade's ultimate sacrifice, Russell renounces his pursuit of vengeance, and Cable realizes that the catastrophic future has been averted. After a brief reunion with Vanessa, Wade's happiness is short-lived. Cable employs his time travel abilities to return just before the pivotal clash at Essex House. Cunningly, he discreetly slips Wade's skee-ball token, previously pilfered in the icebox, into Wade's attire. As the critical moment unfolds and Cable takes aim at Wade, the bullet strikes the skee-ball token instead, sparing Wade's life. Despite the altered outcome, Russell is still moved to abandon his vengeful intentions. Wade then enlists Negasonic and Yukio to repair Cable's time travel apparatus, enabling him to embark on a mission to rescue Vanessa and Peter. In a bold move to clean up the timeline, he eliminates an earlier version of himself, thereby ensuring Wolverine's survival. Further altering history, Wade prevents Ryan Reynolds from assuming the role of Green Lantern. However, when faced with the opportunity to eliminate baby Hitler in 1889, Wade finds himself unable to carry out the deed, opting instead to return with Cable, who, Deadpool bluntly states, loves killing kids. Kidnapping Fred Savage. In a post-Deadpool 2 timeline, Wade undertook the task of crafting a PG-13 rendition of the film. Resorting to unconventional methods, he abducted Fred Savage to coerce him into listening to his literary creation, despite Fred's initial lack of warmth toward Wade. However, after experiencing Wade's work, Fred and Wade forged an unexpected friendship. Eventually, a surprising revelation unveiled Fred in a somewhat revealing state of undress. And that, my friends, is the Deadpool timeline. That's right, all the way up to Deadpool and Wolverine. So, what did you think? Did we capture all the important moments? What's your favorite Deadpool line? How about your favorite side character? Are you excited for this new movie? I know I sure am. Make sure you let us know down in the comments and like and subscribe for more like this. Thanks for watching, dear friends, and we'll see you next time. Excelsior!